This is actually the larynx, and there's two cartilages here of the larynx. The upper one's called the thyroid cartilage of the larynx, and the lower is the cricoid cartilage of the larynx. And right below that is the trachea, and of course that's the windpipe carrying air to the lungs. Where is the esophagus? The esophagus is right underneath the trachea. It is a flat muscular tube that pushes the food all the way down through the chest, through the diaphragm muscle, which is right here. This is the diaphragm muscle that separates the chest from the abdominal cavity. And then it goes right through the diaphragm muscle and connects to the stomach. This is the stomach, and right up here, not quite fully dissected, is the esophagus where it connects. And while we can't see it, what's located right about here, where the esophagus connects to the stomach, is the gastroesophageal sphincter. This is the fundus, the body, and the pylorus of the stomach, the last part. And now this forms the small intestine. And this first segment of the small intestine, getting twisted, right here is the duodenum, shaped like a letter C. Located right in the C-shaped curvature of the duodenum is this pancreas. This is pancreatic tissue. It's actually, it looks like, and I describe it on the other video, as kind of like brown cottage cheese in its texture. It's kind of got cords. It's glandular looking. They actually use the pancreas and the thymus gland in French restaurants, and they call it sweetbreads.
Oh. Oh.
Anybody's ever heard that? Sweetbread.
Oh, really?
But,
Seriously?
yeah. Anyhow, so here we have the duodenum, and let's see. In this cat, the bile ducts are not very good, so I'm not going to be able to point out the bile ducts. Well, let's see. Well, maybe they're okay. All right. So here, here's the gallbladder, this sac. Coming off it is the cystic bile duct. The hepatic bile duct's kind of getting ripped. It's right here. So you'll notice it forms like a letter Y. Can you see this letter Y? So this is the cystic duct. This is the common hepatic bile duct. And they join together to form the common bile duct, which connects to the duodenum. And right where it connects to the duodenum would be the hepatopancreatic sphincter. Now, I have not asked you to know where the jejunum is, but the last segment of the small intestine, called the ileum, you should find. You'd say, how do I know where it is? It's the last part of the small intestine is where it connects to the large intestine. So this has to be the ileum. And right where the ileum connects to the cecum of the beginning of the large intestine is the ileocecal sphincter. So if I have a pin here, that's ileum. If I have a pin here, that's cecum of the large intestine. If I put a pin here, you'd say, I don't know what he's pointing to. Well, what's located right at the junction? The ileocecal sphincter. Now, the cat, as we've said last time, the cat has a much simpler digestive tract, doesn't have this ascending, transverse, descending colon. So it does have a cecum, and the last part is called the rectum. So that's all I'd ask you there. Here's a kidney, here's a ureter, and this is the urinary bladder. We'll talk about that next week. But the kidneys filter the blood, form urine. The urine travels down this ureter or ureter tube, and the urine collects in this urinary bladder. All right, and then we'll see it comes out the urethral canal. Okay, that's the kidneys. This membrane, let's do the membrane here. This shiny membrane on the inside wall of the abdomen, parietal peritoneum. This shiny membrane on the inside wall of the chest cavity, the parietal pleural membrane. Let's see, we've talked about this is the liver. We saw the gallbladder on the underside right here, this sac, green sac. The spleen is right here. It's in the upper left quadrant. Liver is in the upper right quadrant. Spleen is here on the side of the stomach. Now let's do the blood vessels. So in terms of, let's do the veins. So in terms of the veins, this is the superior vena cava, bringing the blood to the right atrium of the heart. It's formed by a right and left, you can see a right and left brachiocephalic, armhead vein. Why it's called a brachiocephalic and armhead vein is what forms it is a jugular vein bringing blood down from the head and a subclavian vein bringing blood from the arm. and they join together, forming a arm head or brachiocephalic vein. Same thing's going on this side, but it either got torn or it didn't get injected. Now that's the superior vena cava.